Good afternoon, friends. We are back again for another fine episode of the Hole Up Project. Now, what I want to do today is I want to try and get this engine bay wrapped up. And to do that, I think you guys watched me do the radiator hoses earlier. Let's go ahead and do an intake. Alright, so I've got this package from Jegs here. It is their Universal LS Swap Cold Air Intake Kit, 513055. Let's take a look at the inside of it and see what we've got. I kind of reached in there and diddled around already, but you haven't, so let's get in there and take a look. So this is supposedly supposed to be a pretty inclusive kit here. And we're going to take a look and find out. Now Jegs advertises that it'll take multiple types of mass airflow sensors. You have the card type that's flat on the top. You've got the round type. And then you've got the type that fits in your air tube. You should be familiar, and if you're not, well, you just got familiar. So, we've got intake elbows. They sent us 1, 2, 3 different types. Okay, so we've got our 3 90-degree intake boots here. We've got our 4-inch to 4-inch, which will go to their 4-inch intake tube that they have here, to a 90 millimeter throttle body. They have the early style throttle body to their 4-inch intake tube. And then you've got this big behemoth here. And I think this is for like a 102. Because it's 4 and 1/4. Yeah, it's a big dog there. So we're going to set him to the side. We aren't going to use him. We're going to use the 4 in and 4 out. And then we've got our round style mass airflow sensor. That's for a truck. 2009 and up, I believe. This is the card style, which we'll be using. That's for car, which is what kind of intake manifold, that's what kind of mass airflow meter I have. You've got your air filter adapter. You've got your neck up and neck down. You've got another sleeve. We've got a couple. So they've really got a lot of it in here. And then we've got ourselves a behemoth of an air filter. So let's get set up on the tripod here, and we'll take a look at what we got going on and see if we can't make this thing work. We got plenty of room under here, that's for sure, so shouldn't have any problem there. So like I said, we're going to start with our 4-inch to 4-inch. Now that's going to be pretty close to that drive motor, but it clears. And as they always say, if it fits, it ships. This is the big hog one. I grabbed the wrong one. There we go. And there we go. Okay. Now we're cooking with gasohol. Let's get a hose clamp on this thing and just give it a little bit of snug so we aren't fooling around there. Yeah, let's do that. This kit does come with the hose clamps. I'm getting kind of excited to wrap this project up. You guys are probably getting excited so you don't have to see me. Holy Moses, look at the hose clamps. Okay, that's a small one. Don't want to just separated those. Don't want to mix them back in together. Okay. Now we can just give that the slightest snug. I don't need much. Kind of sounds like a song lyric there. Okay, give that just the slightest of incline, but that should, has a little bit of tension on it. Now we're going to grab this guy, and I suppose, now I think, wow, that was loud. I don't really think that it matters where your mass airflow goes as long as it's in a straighter section of pipe. You want the air to smooth out before it hits the mass airflow sensor. So if we put it up front, it'd be okay. If we put it in the rear, it should be okay if we need to do something like that. But let's experiment here. We got some daylight. We can slide that in nice and easy. We are getting pretty close to our AC pump. You guys see that okay? Let's take a look. And she's pretty close, but I think it'll be fine. Okay, now, what else do we need to do? I need a sleeve and a mass airflow adapter. Okay, so we've got our sleeve here. We can use an adapter, right like so. Kind of see what we're ending up with. Now they do Air Raid. The company Air Raid makes a nice kit here too. It's one big long plastic tube and you cut it in sections, and then you use these sleeves or contact adhesive to get it back together the way you want it to get there. And I don't know if I was really thrilled with that, because I don't know. I think we'll have plenty of room as long as we're able to secure this tube so it doesn't go bouncing in the AC compressor. Should be okay. We can rotate this. We can take and turn this thing back and forth, because this is a long side, so you could technically make the long side over here and make it longer with your extension for your mass airflow adapter. You can rotate this tube, obviously, to get you more towards the corner of the wheel well. What I want to do is I want to get it kind of stuck over here, not in the way of the tire, but kind of in this area. And I think we can do it. And if I got to order, say, like a 45-degree sleeve or whatever, they're not that expensive anymore. They are if you get like a 5-ply or more for boosted applications. But, we're not boosted today. This is just going to be your normal, naturally aspirated deal. We don't have to worry about hood clearance. We got plenty of hood clearance. Now, we've got this large by huge air filter. That should breathe plenty well. It comes with an adapter here that fits inside the hole. and it's offset, which also kind of makes it nice. We can rotate and spin things around to make the filter go one way or the other, which would be all right. Okay, got that tucked down in there all nice and happy like. Let's snug the hose clamp here. Okay, now we don't got 6 miles of it flopping around. And I kind of feared this. But it's what happens when you make a one size fits all. Like, we're right in front of that tire. Are you able to see? There ain't a whole lot of clearance there. So I may end up having to get a 45 degree, kind of just kick it over and stuff it in that hole. Also, what I was thinking, I'm not 100% sure. I'm probably going to leave this right there where it is. I don't think we're going to gain much ground with 3 or 4 inches. Maybe. But we're still in front of that tire. So, well, looks like I gotta order another piece and see what happens. But I think overall, this aluminum powder coated crackle coating on this tube, I mean, that's a pretty nice touch. Not bad, I don't think. And overall, I'm fairly happy with the product. I'm gonna jostle things around here, and we'll see what we can come up with a little bit down the road. All right, so after multiple hours of fooling around, making a bracket, trying to figure out the best configuration, buying an extra 45 degree silicone adapter, this is what we ended up with. And I gotta say, as a base kit to start from, I think this Jegs kit is probably worth the money. So here we are. We've got our hose clamps on. We've got a pair of channel locks in the way. There we go. And this is kind of the configuration we ended up with. So run along, and then we're going to suck air right in front of that front tire. We'll come over here to get a better view. The 45 was exactly what we needed right there. We're not really interfering. I did have to build this bracket. Now, that took some doing, and it's still drying. But, I mean, it's fairly rigid. We aren't bouncing around too badly over there. I mean, it's doable. You know, nothing's gonna fall off or anything else like that. And if things come to worse, I'll go ahead and build another bracket over here, but I don't really have anything to attach it to. So I was kind of nagging a little bit in the beginning because of that tab that they welded onto the aluminum pipe, but in the end, everything came out worth it. The next thing we got to do is our mass airflow sensor here. The window right there in front goes towards the airflow. So air is coming in this way. It's got to pass through that window and then go in. Now, you want as straight of a section as you can get so the air gets laminar or straight before it hits that mass airflow. Behind it, it doesn't really matter as much, but the one thing that I was really impressed with is the Jegs kit actually came with screws for your mass airflow sensor. That was awfully nice of them. Really considerate. All right, friends. For those of you who are still with me, how did you enjoy that video? Do you guys have an opinion on the air intake system? The one thing that we're going to have to address is this engine originally came with a 3-inch air tube, and now we've upgraded it to a 4. So that will affect your airflow and volume and air speed. So we'll have to make some changes in the computer for that. see if we can get it to start. But otherwise, let's do a quick overview, and I think we'll close up the video. So there she is. That's how she turned out. We've got a little bit extra length of wire here. We're gonna have to tuck that away and fix that up, but like I mentioned previously, it did come with some hardware, which was nice. Came with 90% of everything that you need, and if you weren't picky, you could have done it without buying this extra 45 degrees. One thing to check when you're building these, make sure that tires are moving left and right without any interference, which I achieved. And overall, I think that was a good product purchase. So with that, I will thank you again for watching the whole project, and we will see you next Friday.